As President Joe Biden approved disaster relief for storm-devastated Mississippi, where at least 25 people were killed as a result of a potent tornado outbreak, several tornadoes made landfall in Georgia on Sunday, with two of them being described by the National Weather Service as large and extremely dangerous. The NWS extended an eastward tornado watch across Mississippi until Sunday midnight. The Weather Service advised residents to take cover now on Sunday morning in the Macon, Georgia, suburbs of Milledgeville, Linton, Beulah, and Underwood. The Weather Service reported that a second tornado touched down near LaGrange, Georgia on Sunday morning. LaGrange is located about 65 miles southeast of Atlanta. The Weather Service issued a warning to people living in the path of both funnel clouds, saying, "You are in a life-threatening situation." The 80 to 100 structures in the town of West Point near the Alabama border were damaged by a likely tornado, according to the Troup County Sheriff's Office in Georgia, leaving 20 to 30 structures with major damage. According to the Sheriff's Office, the storm may have injured up to 3 people. 2 tigers managed to escape from their damaged enclosure at the Pine Mountain Safari in Pine Mountain, Georgia, which is about 40 miles north of Columbus, Georgia, but they were quickly apprehended and brought back to the wildlife park. The state of emergency was proclaimed by Georgia Governor Brian Kemp due to the tornado activity in some areas of Georgia. On Sunday afternoon, a tornado watch was still in effect for a portion of Georgia and Alabama. A severe thunderstorm watch covering at least 4 million people in the south is also expected to bring golf ball-sized hail and 60 miles per hour winds. The early spring storm that started in California and produced tornadoes near Los Angeles and Santa Barbara continued to produce severe weather in the south as towns in rural Mississippi began the tornado cleanup on Friday. On Sunday, Biden approved disaster assistance for Mississippi, releasing funds to those affected by the storm's devastation. The White House announced in a statement that government, tribal, and other organizations in Carroll, Humphreys, Monroe, and Sharkey counties will have access to federal funding. Making sure that the local authorities and those first responders have all the resources they require is my top priority. And second, that we begin to care for these families, Deanne Criswell, FEMA administrator, said on ABC's This Week. Sunday co-anchor Martha Raddatz. To be able to see firsthand the impacts that some of these communities have had, Criswell said she will travel on Sunday to the Mississippi towns that the tornadoes wiped out. An F4 rating was given to the dangerous tornado that tore through Rolling Fork, Mississippi, late on Friday. This rating designates a rare and potent storm. The preliminary rating, according to the National Weather Service office in Jackson, Mississippi, comes as staff members are still gathering details about the storm. The F, or Enhanced Fujita, scale uses damage to rank tornadoes from 0 to 5, with 5 being the most severe. Only 1% of tornadoes, according to the Storm Prediction Center, are F4 sized. Historically, F0 or F1 ratings have applied to the vast majority of twisters. The tornado was on the ground for 59 miles over the course of about 70 minutes, according to early data. It was about 3/4 of a mile, or 4,000 feet, at its widest point. Maximum wind gusts from the tornado were recorded at 170 miles per hour. Eldridge Walker, the mayor of Rolling Fork, stated that rescue and search operations were pretty close to being completed and that authorities believed everyone to be safe. He claimed that his 1,800-person town was all but erased from the map. The neighborhood was destroyed. "We now need to reassemble the pieces," Walker said on ABC's Good Morning America. Some of the 20 people killed in the tornado that ravaged his town were friends, according to Walker, who also serves as the town's funeral director. Erwin Macon, a resident of Rolling Rock, was standing outside his completely destroyed home with just a suitcase, which he claimed contained all of his belongings. According to Macon, an unexpected carpet that fell on him during the tornado protected him from flying debris. Macon stated that he was simply grateful to be alive. His home was described as all replaceable. "I'll be all right." 3 people were killed and significant damage was done to the towns of Black Hawk and Montgomery as a result of a separate tornado from Mississippi that tore a 28.6-mile path of destruction through those 2 counties. At least 4 additional F1 tornadoes with winds of 90 to 110 miles per hour also made landfall in Mississippi. The 10 tornadoes that formed on Friday included 2 F2 funnel clouds in Alabama that killed a person in Hartselle, Morgan County, as well as the 2 tornadoes that hit Mississippi. In just 6 minutes, a second F2 twister near Fayetteville, Tennessee, churned the ground for 4 miles, according to officials. A large shed was destroyed, several homes and businesses had their roofs damaged, trees and power lines were snapped, the local fairgrounds horse stalls had their reinforced roof torn off, and the tornado also destroyed a large shed. Several cars were also picked up by the tornado, which also caused a large horse trailer to roll about 80 yards. The disaster declaration was submitted by Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, who stated on Saturday that the scale of the damage and loss is evident everywhere affected today. Entire communities, buildings, and businesses together respond, recover, and rebuild, he tweeted this. That is the goal. While tornado warnings were activated and sirens in some towns warned residents of the impending disaster, not everyone heard or paid attention to the alerts, according to Criswell. They are undoubtedly some of the state's poorest communities in some of these areas, and we are aware that in order to assist them, we will need to mobilize the entire federal family, said Criswell. Up to 35% of Mississippi residents in the region where the powerful tornado struck live below the poverty line and may not have cell phones to receive alerts, Raddatz said in the interview with Criswell on This Week. In order to better inform the public, Criswell believes that we must constantly look at what we can do. We are aware of the sirens. I am aware that some sirens have activated. I don't have a precise image of the explosion site. However, sirens are one of the most effective tools we have to quickly issue a widespread warning to the public, particularly in the case of nocturnal tornadoes like this one that occur while people are asleep.